Have you ever had an audio recording and you really wish you could extract the MIDI notes from it so you could change the sound while maintaining the performance? Well, you can, all inside of Fender Studio Pro version 8. In the past, we could do a version of this by taking, let's say, my vocal. I sing a melody, then I could analyze it with Melodyne Essential, then I could drag that Melodyne Essential onto an instrument track, and then it would extract the MIDI notes. That's cool. We've made that a lot simpler. You don't need the Melodyne anymore to do that, but also we can extract a lot more than we could in the past. This is super cool. Check this out. All right, here is Fender Studio Pro. I'm going to bring in a simple keyboard part. So this is like a Fender Rhodes part. And I just want to show, just check this out. This is super cool. Let me just separate this, and we're just going to focus on this section of audio here, okay? I'm going to right-click on it, and under the audio menu, we have a couple of new commands, extract drums and extract notes. We're going to use extract notes for now. Check out what happens when I hit extract notes. It takes a minute to process the audio, and then, look at that. Now, no editing trickery here. I didn't go add an instrument and all. It just did it for me. So it extracted the notes, plopped them down onto a new track, and even added an instrument, looks like my tie. And so I didn't have to do anything but say, extract those notes. I'm going to solo this track and press play and see what happens. What? Just for reference, that is what this part was. Now you may say, Joe, that sounds lovely. Why would you ever want to change it? And it is lovely. Those are some of the Fender Rhodes sounds inside of Fender Studio Pro. But what if I just decided for another project, I want this to be a piano or an orchestra or anything else? I've just extracted the notes. Not just a melody, but check it out. 3-part harmony has been extracted. Now I can go in and, of course, I can use editing to change these, update them however I want them to be. But I could also just come in and say, okay, let's make this an orchestra sound. Maybe we're going to keep the original, but we want some orchestral thing to play underneath. We can come into Presence. We can look under the PSO Classic Orchestra package, which is fantastic. Let's make this a violin section. I'm going to drag the violin section onto this track, and it's going to ask, do you want to combine it with the sound that we had or just replace it? I just want to replace. Cool. Now let's just hit play and see what we've got. Now, maybe we just want those to be whole notes instead of those quarter notes in between. We can always go in and make those changes, but we've just extracted the note information that we can then use for something else. This is a godsend for someone if you don't play keyboards. You've got a keyboard part that you like, you just want it to be a different tone, or you want to supplement that and add something else to it like this. Didn't even have to own a keyboard to do that. That's super cool. Now, as you might imagine, it also works wonderfully on just monophonic instruments, like, for example, this clarinet. I can just do the same thing before, go to Audio, extract notes. It listens to it, and then it plops it down onto its own MIDI track with its own MIDI instrument and lets me play it there. Now, it's just giving me a basic MIDI sound, but now the sky's the limit. I can add whatever sound I want to this, and that's just super exciting to me. And it was a lot faster than in the past. I'd have to Melodyne this, then take that Melodyne track, then create an instrument, put a sound on it, then drag it to that track. We've just simplified that process, which I know I say this all the time, but I've been using this software for well over a decade. And the reason I switched from one of the most popular recording software out there to this was because of things like this, where it said, okay, here's a task that our user wants to do. How can we make it even faster and more efficient for them? This was one click, and now I can go mess with it some more. But to do this would have been several clicks before. Now it's simpler. I like that a lot. But wait, there's more. It can do the same thing for drums. Check this out. Here is a drum mix. check out, right click, audio. Instead of extract notes, I can't say the word extract. Instead of extract notes, it has an extract drums option, which essentially does the same thing, except it's thinking in terms of drums versus musical notes, and it's going to put it into impact instead of importing it into some sort of a keyboard patch. Check it out. Okay, here it is. Look, I'm just going to solo the thing it created, this instrument track. If I click on this keyboard here, we'll see it's loaded up impact with some sounds already, but I haven't touched anything. Let's just see how it sounds. I don't know how it does it. So can you see, obviously, I like the real drums better than like the default drum tone that comes in, but can you see how we just turned this monster drum performance into MIDI information that we can then do anything we want? We could take maybe a recording the performance was great, but we botched the recording. We could use this to trigger samples instead and replace the entire recording if we want. Maybe you've got an old drum loop and you want to give it new life with new sounds with the same performance and the same timing. You can do that. And it pulls out more than just the rhythm. It pulls out kick, snare, cymbals, hi-hat. That's super cool. It'll do toms as well. Or let's say you've got a recording that's pretty good, but you'd like to supplement the kick and the snare, for example, with samples. Instead of needing to use some other software to do that, you could just do that here. Extract the kick drum. We could just come in and turn off the hi-hats and the cymbals and just have kick and snare, and we can dial in the exact kick sound we want, exact snare sound we want, and now they're being triggered exactly, look at that, exactly off of the audio information. Super interesting, super cool. I can't wait to hear all the creative ways that you end up using this on your productions. My name's Joe Gilder. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.